My grandpa had a similar accident, was sent to Berlin, happened to be working on the roof, and someone forgot he was up there and moved the ladder. He slipped, snapped a tendon, and wound up being trained as a medical assistant. Unfortunately, this meant he saw a lot of bad stuff, including having to treat a good friend who then died. He suffered from PTSD and depression the rest of his life, but was a wonderful grandpa. He had trouble talking about the war, so rarely did. While he was in Berlin, he fell in love with a German girl and asked her father for permission to marry her. He was told no because not only was he American, but he was Italian, which was even worse to the father. After the war, he stayed in Germany for 2 years to help clean up. He said the people were nice. He never had anything bad to say about them, but that's kind of how he was. I think maybe that came from growing up around criminals, and understanding people can be both good and bad. His family was in the mafia and ran a front in Brooklyn, and prior to that, a brothel. He went to Pratt when it was still affordable so he could become an engineer. He went on to become an aerospace engineer and was a talented woodworker, his grandpa was a woodworker, who sold his furniture on the side. He married my grandma, taking in her 2 kids. They bought a house using the GI Bill. Then they had my mom. They were together for 46 years. He survived cancer 3 times. He lived to be 86. It's been 8 years since he passed, and we all still really miss him. His favorite cartoon to watch with me was Hey Arnold because it reminded him of Brooklyn, and he used to tell me about the homing pigeons he trained on his roof, just like Pigeon Man. Edit. Wow, since this blew up, I'll tell you more. My grandpa was born in 1926 in New York City. His father and aunt grew up in a brothel, run by their father and stepmother. Their bio mom died shortly after giving birth. I actually have a photo of the brothel with my GRT grandpa, his wife, my GRT grandpa and sister, together on the stoop from the 1910s. In the 1930s, my grandpa's family moved to Brooklyn. They opened up a soda fountain. They used it to launder money. My great-grandpa ran the local lottery and sold drugs. My GRT grandma sold bathtub gin and was unfortunately mentally ill. She was frequently hospitalized for manic depression. A few years ago, my grandpa's sister called me and told me some amazing stories from when they all lived in Brooklyn together. She said a few days before her wedding, 1950s, my grandpa was apprehended by the police on the street. They tried to pressure him into telling them what their father was up to. My aunt asked him to make sure their father wasn't jailed so that he would be present at her wedding. So my grandpa went to their father and told him. He got there in time for my GRT grandpa to hide any evidence. The police eventually showed up and found nothing of use. My aunt said she had thanked my grandpa for that favor as she begged him to help hide things so that their father would be at her wedding and not in jail. She got married, and their father was there and had a happy marriage and 3 kids. My GRT grandparents' crimes went on into the 1970s, and then they passed away, and that was that. We did take my grandpa back to his old homes in Brooklyn a few years before he passed, and he cried. He said he loved Brooklyn so much and wished he'd never left it. For those of you from NYC, you'll know that Park Slope, Bay Ridge, and Borough Park are very expensive now. The dilapidated homes he once lived in, with about 12 people in them at a time, Grandpa slept on the enclosed porch, are now worth millions. My mom says my great-grandpa was a nice man and spoiled her and my great-grandma. She said if there was a piece of jewelry my GRT grandma wanted in a window, he'd buy it for her. He also used to bring my mom chocolate and treats. I asked her how he could have been so nice to her if he was a criminal. And she shrugged and said that people had to do what they did back then because they had no skills and no one would hire Italians but Italians. I also asked my mom how it was to grow up with her grandparents, and she said it was weird knowing what a P.O. box was and betting on the horses at Belmont as a kid